Welcome to Gossip About Gossip, powered by Hedera Hashgraph. In each episode, we'll cut through the hype of blockchain promises and explore real-world examples of organizations creating the next generation of decentralized applications, which will bring trust back to the internet for us all.
Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Gossip About Gossip. My name is Zenobia Godstock, and I am the SVP of Communications here at Hedera. Today, I am joined by Matt Smithies, who is the CTO of DOVU. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hi, Zenobia. I'm doing very well, thank you. Appreciate you bringing me on.
Yes. Well, it is great to catch up with you. I know we have folks who are very familiar with the DOVU story, but we also have people who are new to the story. So for those who don't know, can you give us a little bit of a catch up on who is DOVU and what do you all do?
Well, at DOVU, what we're trying to build out is the trust layer for carbon credits. It basically means making credits as auditable and visible and verifiable as possible. And so over the last, 6 months, we've gone from strength to strength. In December, we launched our marketplace and we completely sold out of all of our carbon. And so the quest is on to continually find more carbon to feed the marketplace, but making sure that it is auditable, verifiable, and can be trusted.
And tell us what went into launching the marketplace and maybe a little bit more about how it works.
So the marketplace probably was worked on in different forms for well over a year. Back in this time last year, we first built it out as a kind of offshoot of the original hackathon, the Hedera 21 hackathon. And then it slowly evolved where we did a little video demonstration back in August of last year. And we rebuilt the entire kind of product to kind of give us a fresh start and a foundation. And that came out in December. And so it's an entire enterprise solution, for lack of another word, for issuing credits and showing the whole chain of proof all the way through. And as we go on, we're continually improving. This is working with the Guardian, working closely with the team at Hedera, especially Justin. We love that guy, and Wes, of course, to make sure that our product can be the best it can be with the continuing challenges and the demands of the current ESG space.
And did you expect to sell out so quickly?
One always hopes. And then it happens, and then people complain because they can't buy anymore because of our staking platform, but that's another story entirely. But I'm glad we sold out. I just want to, obviously, I'm itching to get more on there when we are able to, and we're cleared.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of demand in the marketplace. So tell us a little bit about the staking platform.
So we've actually been designing the staking or been conceiving of it for about a year. The core team, me, Krasina, and Ervon, come from the Ethereum world, and obviously Dove was an original kind of ERC20 token back in 2016, 2017. And so what we found is there are an array of DeFi products, all the way from Woo to Olympus Finance, on Ethereum, and we wanted to kind of build something out that was regulatory friendly, and kind of bring it, but strictly on Hedera kind of tech. So HTS only, as much flexibility as possible, being able to drive obscene amounts of TPS through the network, and that process of actually building out begun in Q4 of last year. With the front end finishing in Q1, and with the tests that we kind of proved what we were capable of doing, we managed to push around 30 million TPS through the network in 24 hours. And currently we have something in the region of 400 to 500 users in beta right now, using the platform, and they're getting rewards every 15 minutes. But the really cool thing is we incentivize long-term behavior. So if you acquire some Dove and then port it over HBAR and just hold it in the position, you actually gain these multipliers. What we say, if you kind of behave in a particular way, you'll be rewarded. In addition to that, and one of the reasons why our credits sold out so quickly is that the more carbon credits you purchase, the higher your multiplier is, your higher APY, as it were. And we ended up with something like 271 sales, something crazy for our marketplace. And so, it really proves that if you have something of value, be it a credit or a token in itself, you can actually craft user behavior for them to kind of be aligned with your mission, your focus.
Right. And so do I understand correctly that the staking platform will be opened up to more people as you're able to sort of expand the marketplace? Or how do you think about those two things together?
So we have a hard date, and it's in Q2. And it will be opened up to the public and everyone can kind of jump on board and have fun. I think, to be perfectly frank, because of the friction on the Ethereum side and HashBot, although it works brilliantly, it is a pain point, the gas fees and everything. So as there are more exchanges on the HTS side, I imagine at that point in time is where the staking and our kind of capacity will explode in terms of serving people on our staking platform.
Fantastic. And we've heard rumblings, maybe some twitterings on something that you call the Blood Moon coming up in
Yes.
Q2.
So that's Operation Blood Moon. And in short, the streets will turn blood red and screams will be our currency. And, honestly, it's marketing, it's a lot of fun. But on a serious note, what it really, what the big focus is to say, we envision DOVU to eventually become a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. And the first step in doing that is to distribute our tokens. And so what we're going to be doing is taking the DOVU calculator, changing it. So instead of saying you need to purchase X Dove to offset or kind of be part of our ecosystem to interact with us, we're going to say to you, no, we'll give you the tokens from the Ethereum side, and then you automatically will bridge them to Hedera. You'll have a marketplace account, you'll automatically stake, and you can actually interact with DOVU and understand what we do and the mission that we have. And if it's not for you, you can bridge them back over Hashport. But if you really love what we're doing, then you have a place right there, instantly staked. And, we've been having a lot of fun with that. As a preparation, we took a snapshot of all the HTS tokens actually bridged over Hashbot already. We have something like 70 million tokens, which probably at current prices is probably in the region of $1.5 million, which is kind of crazy because other than obviously HBAR and USDC, Dove tokens represent the first true value that is flowing through the network that is actually connected to real markets. And so we can do really interesting things to do with like value and, all this idea of financial energy is fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're sitting here and we get to see the community build, sort of the next generation of infrastructure for sustainability and for, distributed finance from the ground up. So I think people are always impatient for these things to happen, but you're talking about the process for how that has been happening and how that's, being built up every day by you all. Now you're very familiar with the Hedera hackathons. We know you are engaged with the one going on right now. Can you share a little bit more about your participation there?
Yeah, so there are so many interesting routes to go down. And I've probably done a few projects already in the sense of hitting the requirements. We've built out some kind of small software tools which really help the development of smart contracts. But one thing I've really found is that the combination of smart contracts and HTS, I think, is going to really revolutionize how people write smart contracts in a more secure fashion. I'm happy to go in a kind of a more in depth about that kind of another time because it gets pretty technical. But the way that we have approached the hackathon is to say, Dove needs a utility. And we have been working on this project for a long time. There's this process. However, we don't just want to slap, something easy like redemptions or access. We want something intertwined with what we're trying to accomplish. And so if we look at the Guardian, or if we look at any entity that is involved in the creation of these carbon credits, how do you know these people can be trusted? Do you just take their word for it? Do you take DOVU's word for it? Or perhaps do you allow the community to actually make a choice in who could be trusted? So if there's a verifier or a farmer that is involved in a credit, what if you could stake your DOVU to a real life actor in the real life world to effectively give them, I guess, a real kind of TVL, like a real dollar value? Because other people could look at them and say, okay, these community members have effectively vouched for them. Maybe I should trust them in the creation of credits. And being able to do that in a way where Dove can be locked up for a long period of time. There are stake and rewards attached like before, but the risk is if something goes wrong, that Dove value, that real life TVL, could actually be funneled back to the buyers of credits. So maybe credits were fraudulent. Fraud is always going to happen, but at the moment that's detected, we could liquidate those particular Dove tokens and make sure the buyers, the enterprises, the retail side actually get a Dove back for every single kilogram that is insured. And so, in short, that is what we're working on the hackathon.
Really interesting. And I think, as we as an industry evolve, you start to see people thinking about risk profiles the same way that, banks and other financial institutions think about risk, right? Fraud is not something, to your point, that we can completely eliminate, but how do we minimize that risk using as many different vehicles and as many different levers as possible? Okay, so going from fraud to something a little bit more enjoyable and personal for you, I know you are working with a number of NFT projects. They are adorable. If you haven't checked them out on Twitter, you definitely should. But Matt, can you share with us a little bit more about some of these artists and creators and collections?
So Little Inkstein is the main kind of NFT project I'm kind of working with. But kind of for her first drop, what we're doing is we're working with this artist called Creets, who is actually Warlock. He basically does the Hashcast. That's what he runs, and he's a voice actor. They're both very talented artists. And I thought, as the first foray into kind of launching something like a proper NFT project on Hedera, why don't we just do this huge collaboration and try to make it work the best we can and understand the space? Because I don't know everything. I only know certain amounts of Hedera myself. And so to make that happen, there's going to be a huge component of the incoming funds is going to go to the Boys and Girls Club of America. And that's kind of very important to the project. But in addition, we're going to be working closer with DOVU. And so we're going to be developing additional staking mechanisms. So if somebody buys the entire set, they can actually stake their Dove with DOVU. But if you own the entire set, you can gain an extra little bit of bonus. And so what this fundamentally means is the mechanism to work with not only partners, but NFT artists or anyone who's trying to make a difference in the Hedera space is both something I'm interested in and DOVU is interested in.
Well, very cool. Matt, we are about to wrap up here. Anything else you would like to share with our audience?
We're working hard to make...
You're always working hard. I don't think you sleep.
I do sleep occasionally, and there is only one of me. And, people seem to think I do more than I currently do. So I don't know who to believe. But anyway, we're working really hard behind the scenes. And I would urge people to, if you love what DOVU do, if you want to interact with me, jump onto DOVU's Discord. And we have started to build up an amazing community there. And if you have any questions, please just feel free to reach out to me personally.
Wonderful. Thank you, Matt, so much for joining us today. And we look forward to continuing to hear all about your progress on so many fronts.